Hello, and welcome to a special 60-second episode of the Twinsies podcast.
60 seconds?
60-second. The 60-second episode.
Oh, 60 seconds.
60-second.
60 second.
Or we can make it 60 seconds.
What do you think the 62nd president of the United States will be named?
Amadeus Forthright.
We're on the 45th right now?
Uh-huh.
So we got 17 to go. So that's in 68 years.
Assuming full terms.
So I'll be 100. Okay. Let's see if I live to make it there.
I'm assuming the names will come back around, like Amadeus and Ulysses.
61 will be Fillmore Roosevelt.
Yeah.
It'll be a combination.
We'll run out of names.
He'll be Teddy, like in Futurama, where they have the head of a famous person in a jar on top of a body.
Either that, or it'll be like Screebox Flip Floop, like a really futuristic name.
We'll be beyond
Hi,
names
I'm
by then.
Screebox. Yeah, that'll just be a number.
Yeah, our president is
Human 7436.
Yes. I figure humans will probably be maintained by the Apple Corporation at some point.
Yeah.
Like there'll be everything will be integrated. So like
we won't have a president.
I just like pull the laptop out of my chest and it just hovers and there'll be no need for laptops at that point. What's life gonna be like? When I'm 100.
We won't have a president. We'll have America will have a CEO.
Maybe there'll be some like cure for like crotchetyness, so I won't be as crotchety when I'm 100.
Yeah, you'll
like
be youthful and you'll maintain your naivete.
I'll just get sprayed with stem cells every morning.
Yeah.
My oldness will slough off, and then I'll be young
your morning
again.
cup of stem cells.
That's also a Futurama reference. You remember that episode where everyone got a $300 tax rebate, and Professor Farnsworth used his to get to buy $300 worth of stem cells, and he just like rubbed them on his face, and it just goes. Just like sucks his skin back tight to his skull, and he's like a young man again.
Stem cell paste.
It's so funny. Futurama was a very underrated show. There's like a new Matt Groening show on Netflix. It looks medievally. I tried to watch the first one, and I hated the first 10 minutes. So I was like, eh.
I think I watched the first episode. I can't remember if I started the second or not, but yeah, I was unimpressed, which is sad.
That's how I felt about Futurama too. That's why I kind of wanted to give it the old college try, but I don't know.
Yeah, it just like didn't.
I also
hate
the medieval period.
Like that setting.
Yeah, I don't want to watch people eat mutton chops while they haven't showered for 2 weeks. And
well, just like in like the I don't know the story didn't grab me, like that weird like demon-y thing, and it was.
Oh, I didn't get that far.
I was not into it.
Yeah.
You didn't get to the demon part?
There was
very
like
unfunny, voiced by Eric Andre.
I don't even remember. There was just like the female lead or whatever. She was like a princess. She was like playing cards or something, and then
she's like
dragged out.
She's like an anti-princess.
Yeah, I don't know. But no, I wasn't into it. I am gonna revolutionize Thanksgiving though.
Okay, so this is our Thanksgiving episode. I can't remember if I said that or not. And so I don't know what Dan's about to say, but he's gonna revolutionize Thanksgiving. Go on.
So I was discussing this with a couple of our kids that we have the Easter Bunny.
Dan and I are fathers.
A couple of our 15-year-old baseball players. They have the Easter Bunny.
Okay.
Nonsensical. We have Santa Claus. Also nonsensical.
Correct.
I feel like Thanksgiving needs a nonsensical like mascot creature.
Oh, every holiday, yeah. The St. Patty's has like a or a leprechaun.
Yeah. And so, Halloween just has
Turkey
like
Tom kind of the mascot of Thanksgiving.
Turkey Tom.
Turkey Tom?
Is that Jimmy John's?
Turkey Tom McLean? Turkey Tom is like there's a song, I can't remember how it goes. I don't know, I used to sing it when I was a child. But go on.
But we don't get presents from him.
Oh, no.
We don't like
he has no affectation.
Pray to him or anything.
No.
So here's my pitch, and you can animate this book if you're into it.
All right.
Which
it's
you won't
make me $1 million.
Probably. It'll probably go viral. So I think he'd have an old name. So I think like Fillmore. So Fillmore the Thanksgiving Dragon.
Oh, dragon.
It's a combination of Robin Hood and Santa. So every Thanksgiving, Fillmore sneaks down your chimney.
Does he steal presents from the rich?
He does.
Okay.
But first, he's hanging upside down. He like breathes out. Because I assume this is how it works. Like if you breathe fire, you could like breathe it out without like lighting the pilot, and it would just like breathe out.
You
gas.
like breathe out like natural gas.
Yeah. So he breathes out a gas that knocks everyone out.
You smell that, kids?
And knocks everyone out in the home. And we'll just say that.
Oh, he knocks people out.
So he knocks everyone out, and like natural gas smells like eggs. But we'll say for his purpose, it smells like pumpkin pie. They're like they're none the wiser.
Okay.
They all get knocked out. He steals all their This is like a wealthy family. He steals all their high-end electronics, packs them up, but before he does, to not be like a complete jerk, he uses fire. He opens the oven, uses fire, and like perfectly cooks the turkey with his fire. Then he absconds up the thing off to a poor house, goes in their chimney.
They don't have a chimney.
Whatever. Sneaks into their house, knocks them all out, installs all the high-end electronics, and cooks their turkey, and then's on his way.
Okay.
That's the legend of Fillmore the Thanksgiving Dragon.
Is there any like do you have to do anything for like, you know how like when you leave out cookies and milk for Santa, do like rich people like put up chicken wire in their chimney to keep the dragon from coming?
It's a good question. Because
also I like the image in my brain of like, you smell that, children? It's pumpkin pie. Be careful. You might get knocked out by Fillmore.
By the time you smell it, it's too late.
I also like the idea that it's like kind of a scary holiday for rich kids, but a really happy holiday for poor kids.
Yeah.
I don't want Fillmore to steal my PlayStation 4.
Wait, what was your question?
If I'm like a rich kid, can I leave some sort of toll?
Oh.
or do I like put up chicken netting or chicken wire in my chimney to keep it?
Okay, so Fillmore doesn't like pulling out drywall anchors and all that stuff. So if you have like a really high-end TV on the wall, if you leave out a heap of like iPads
you can,
and
like, bribe
iPhones,
him.
maybe he'll just like take the easy way. If you have enough stuff.
So you like, if you're well, first of all, this also requires that we turn Thanksgiving into a gift-giving holiday. But yeah, if you're a rich family, you buy all your normal Thanksgiving gifts, but then you have to buy special gifts for Fillmore, and you leave those easily accessible right by the chimney.
And he stimulates the economy because all these wealthy kids, they lose all their high-end electronics, but then they just go buy more on Black Friday.
Yeah.
So he's just stimulating the economy.
Fillmore's a socialist.
So I figured we could
the socialist dragon.
I figured we could animate this, make it a YouTube short, and then
see if it takes
go
off
viral, and then 5-book children's deal.
Is Fillmore like a big dragon or like a little dragon?
He's like
a magical dragon.
He's like expandable.
Yeah, he can shrink.
He's got to fit down that chimney,
right?
Or in a chimneyless house's
Yeah,
case, like through their air
ducts.
Yeah, and then, but I assume he's got like some sort of kangaroo pouch or like a.
Or a backpack.
Something.
A Dewey backpack.
Oh, you know me too well. Yeah, that's what he does to like to gather everything up. Obviously, maybe he has some sort of magic powers to like shrink a 70-inch TV. I don't know.
Yeah, well, yeah, he could be. Santa's a magical elf.
Yeah,
he could be a magical dragon.
Santa's about as nonsensical as it comes. So,
wait, what was he? He was half Santa and half. What was the other thing?
Robin Hood.
Oh, Robin Hood. Gotcha. Yeah.
Because they're gonna go buy more stuff they don't need on Black Friday anyway.
Yeah.
Well,
you could really expand this. You could have an analog for like the sheriff of Nottingham. Like there could be like a capitalist entity that tries to stop Fillmore.
I think he'd be a fox because I like foxes.
Yeah,
and he'd be voiced by Johnny Cash. Of course, Johnny Cash is now not with us.
You could make a soundboard.
Yeah,
pull from all of his interviews.
Yep, and he yips at him, tries to catch Fillmore, but he can't.
He can't. Fillmore always wins.
He always wins. But
that's the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so you can try to bribe him. You can make a pile of electronics, but
if you're naughty, he doesn't care.
No,
he just takes all your stuff.
Well, I don't know that he cares about naughtiness. I don't know that he's interested in making that judgment. That seems like too much work. I think he just wants to fix the inequity between classes.
He's just tired
on the electronic side. He doesn't care about anything else.
He's just tired of the 1%.
He's not going to fix education. There's not going to be healthcare reform. He just wants to give iPads to kids that need it.
It's really just about iPad distribution.
Yeah. So, and
then if you're if you are like a little rich kid and you lose your iPad, you can just be like, I think Fillmore took it. It gets you it's an instant cop out.
I just got this great image in my head. This would be like page 7 or probably early, like page 4. Like Santa's like checking his naughty list. There'd just be Fillmore with like his little glasses on, his beard, just checking tax returns. Just going through.
Yeah. Quite the surplus this year. Yeah.
Yep. So we could change Thanksgiving forever. And who cares about Christopher Columbus? He was a jerk.
Yeah,
he was a jerk.
That's I have to think that holiday is on its last legs.
We're
gonna stop celebrating.
Indians were oppressed.
We still-
turkeys.
Kids still get that day off school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Yeah, throw that one in the trash can. Valentine's Day, throw that in the trash can. Make more room for Fillmore.
Yep. Fillmore's coming at you. So Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. I like Thanksgiving.
Okay, tell me about your family's Thanksgiving.
My family's Thanksgiving is generally the immediate family. So myself, my mother and father, brother and sister, and their significant others, and now children. But I like Thanksgiving because it's like Christmas, but without gift giving. And it's at a better time of year. I like November. I like December too, but December's colder. And it's just you just chill out, and it's a very lazy holiday, and you eat very good food, and then at the end, you're done. That's the end of Thanksgiving. Versus like Christmas, it's a very I like Christmas, but it's a very extended holiday. There's gift buying before. You have to open up presents the day of, and now that there's children involved in my family, now that I have 6 nieces and nephews, it's very, not to sound selfish, but it's very like focused on the children. So it's like loud and long, and like the adult portion of Christmas is like 15 minutes, and then the other like 4.5 hours is for the kids, which is fine. I get it, but it's hard to stomach sometimes.
Yep. I'm living for the child.
And your Thanksgiving?
Your life. I haven't been home in a long time. I was just talking about this with some of the 15-year-olds. I guess it was 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago, I had Thanksgiving at McDonald's in downtown Chicago. And when I tell that story, everyone's like, it like hurts them. They're like, oh, that's so sad, pathetic. Like, oh God. But so here's how Thanksgiving has evolved. This will be the first year I go home for Thanksgiving since I moved out here in 2010. And so basically, first year here, I was dating the girl that I moved back here for, right? And did Thanksgiving with her family. We split a couple months later. Never to be. What's the like? I was gonna say stitched, but that's not a good way to put it.
Rekindled?
Well, we split. But what's the opposite of split? Like splitting.
Patched.
Never be patched.
Patched up. I don't know.
We broke up.
Yeah.
And the next year, I went to John's house, and I think I did that for 2 years. John Redman, good man, now in California. They moved out there
professional
a couple years ago.
Remote control airplane flyer.
Yeah, he's a turbine
engineer.
He's he's a jet turbine specialist in like toy planes.
Yeah.
Not toy planes, but that's not the right model planes.
Yeah,
so like they make model airplane turbines, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But he was a jet mechanic in the Air Force, and then he just turned that to models, which is cool. So anyway,
which is fascinating because it's like a very niche community, but it's like a bit like it's a big deal.
Yeah, because people will put like thousands and tens of thousands.
It kind of has to sound like it's a kind of a rich guy hobby, but yeah, people spend a ton of money on that stuff. And apparently, he's like a highly sought after
guy. Yeah, like a thought leader in the industry. So I went to John's house for a couple years, and that was good. Like I was welcome there. There's just like something just a little bit off when you're just like a guest at someone's Thanksgiving, and I don't know that it would be exclusive to anyone's family, but you're just like they put a little more attention to you because you're like the outsider, which is kind and it's the nice thing to do. But as the outsider, it just feels like even when you're very welcome, it just feels like you just like don't belong there that much. It's just like
or almost like the extra attention paid almost like heightens the fact that it's
So stopped going there for 2 years or after those 2 years and did my own thing, and I loved it.
Made your own little Thanksgiving dinner.
I did that for a couple years, and then I went to Chicago for 2 straight years. And one of those years, I just like wandered around the city. I did that every time, but one time I wandered too long, and then things started to close, and I didn't catch it. I didn't realize, and then where I was staying.
Yeah, because this is probably like early afternoon, maybe that stuff starts to close or afternoonish.
Yeah, and you can find like some Chinese restaurants or whatever, but I just like kind of got stuck in like downtown and just like couldn't really find any place that was open, so I ended up just going to McDonald's and eating McDonald's for Thanksgiving dinner.
Was there anyone else there?
Some homeless people.
It was you and some homeless people.
Yeah, and some just shady characters in general. But yeah, did that.
I
was
do,
fine.
I do, and I think we mentioned this on the podcast before. We've mentioned everything on the podcast before, but there is something I like the idea of during holidays acting as if they're any other day because everyone else is doing holiday things. So like you have
I was so
the world to
nonconformist.
yourself.
Yeah.
Well, and like I know people have mentioned that. I've heard other people mention that, like on Christmas or whatever, like days that everyone else is inside, like doing holiday things, the world is just like empty, so you can go do whatever you want,
Yeah.
which just sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Plus, I'm sure like I'm sure Chicago around Thanksgiving, I'm sure it's brutally cold, but I'm sure it's like kind of like the atmosphere is cool. Yeah.
I mean, there were people out during the day, just like doing their thing, getting coffee, just like running around, whatever. And then it peters out around the middle of the day. Everyone starts like
Yeah.
going in their homes.
Where does Thanksgiving rank in your holiday list?
Well, for
Perp.
it's a good question. I romanticize July 4th because I had like some really good ones in college,
Uh-huh.
like playing summer ball and just like with my college roommates But since then, like I'm not like the most social adult, and I don't have like a big group of friends, and I probably never will. I'm just like not quite that kind of person. So I like that scene doesn't really exist anymore. It was like a random, just like real weird window in time where I just like lived with a bunch of guys that we would just like we like grilled out and just like had cool days. Like we had like parades in the morning with like our summer baseball team like through this town, and then we like went home and like grilled out and like had all this fruit and like just like lots of different, just like a big cool 4th of July day. So I was like, this is great, but that's probably not reproducible anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say now that when I was just like listening to you talk, it does just seem like the value of each holiday probably fluctuates, given that you're like in your certain life phase.
Yeah. So I don't know, but Easter's whatever. Halloween to me, meh, kind of low ranking. I don't know. What other holidays?
Well,
Christmas is
St.
good, I
Patty's,
guess.
Christmas,
St. Patty's is like a nothing day for me.
4th of July. What are we missing? Arbor Day. You a big Arbor Day guy, McLean?
McLean, how do you feel about Arbor Day?
Do you plant a tree every Arbor Day? Well, you're a terrorist.
Oh, nowadays there's like a holiday for everything.
McLean's comment was, nowadays there's a holiday for everything.
See if today's a holiday. There's got to be something. It's
Yeah.
like
If I go on my calendar,
National 100% Cotton T-shirt Day.
It does. Yeah, there is like definitely that, but they're not like true holidays.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Those are the big ones. I can't. We're probably missing one. Oh, Valentine's Day. Stinker.
Yeah.
Stinker.
Stinger for sure. That was Valentine's Day was I don't know. Not that I've had that many. I don't know. Valentine's Day is tough because to me it's always a decision point. You either got to go one of two ways if you're dating somebody, which is like tell them how you feel and like go all in, or just break
Pump
up.
the brakes.
Yeah.
it's World Kindness Day.
Today?
World Kindness
Really?
Day.
Wow.
In India, it's National Indian Pudding Day.
Wow.
So it is World Kindness
Great-
Day and
great logo.
National Indian Pudding Day.
It's fascinating.
I wonder how World Kindness
What is an
Day is
Indian
celebrated.
pudding even like?
Google.
Vanilla,
Look that up
vanilla,
next.
some good. I imagine like a rice pudding, some good cinnamon vanilla flavor. I don't know.
World Kindness Day. What does that even mean? Like, who is in charge of like stamping these days? Like, this is World Kindness Day.
Sure. Yeah, it's like sure.
What organization is backing that? That's
Yeah.
not-
What am I
January
doing, kindness or pudding?
What's Indian pudding? Look that up.
January 3rd is North Face Sweater Appreciation Day.
yeah. Sponsored by North Face.
But
I don't know. I like that. Thanksgiving might be my favorite, and then maybe Christmas, and then probably Halloween. Well, I like St. Patty's Day too. A lot.
Yeah. You're a big St. Patty's Day guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Thanksgiving to me, when I was a kid, I didn't identify with my cousins and like my aunts and uncles that well in Baltimore. Like we kind of like two families. Like my dad's side is from, my dad grew up in Oklahoma, but his side of the family is scattered all over the country. They're in Texas, California, Tennessee now. So I don't see them very much. So we've always had Thanksgiving with our Baltimore side of my family. When I was just a kid, I just like wasn't as social, and and I just didn't connect with my cousins that well. And my aunts and uncles, they're amazing people, but I just like didn't feel like I connected with them. And I connect with them a lot better now as an adult, which
Yeah.
is great. So being around them, Christmas as an adult, it's gotten better every year because I just feel like I've grown in my personality, I guess. Whereas a
Yeah.
kid, I was just like kind of like quiet and like I don't know. So
Well, and
that's
it's like-
been better for sure.
Yeah, and you definitely, as you get older, I feel like we become when you transition to being an actual adult, then there's like things to talk about versus like when you're a kid talking to an adult, it's like, what are we gonna talk about?
Yeah,
You know, you're not interested in Pokemon.
This is true. But like my cousin Ashley, she's really funny, and like as a kid, like I don't know, like she was a couple years older than me. Like we never really like talked, but
Well, yeah,
as
that's the other
adults,
thing.
like she's really funny. She's really cool.
The age gaps feel so much bigger when you're young too.
Yeah,
It's like when you're 12 and she's, I don't know, let's say she's 17. It's like you have nothing in common. But when you're 30 and she's 35, then it's like, oh yeah, this makes more sense.
yeah.
What you got, McLean? What's Indian pudding?
So it's a New England dessert.
A New England dessert.
Yeah. So when the American colonies came over here, they substituted corn for wheat because the indigenous people taught them how to like farm their own corn, and then they substituted milk for water, and they added molasses or maple syrup along with cinnamon, ground ginger, butter, eggs, raisins, and nuts. And then it's also served alongside like vanilla ice cream.
Okay.
This is Indian pudding.
Yeah, so it's a dessert.
This is interesting. Okay, so here's the thing.
First of all, I thought he was talking about the country of India.
That's what I thought too.
Okay.
That's what I thought too.
Native American pudding.
Okay, so Native American. So here's the thing.
Uh-oh.
When I came here, when I immigrated from Maryland,
Uh-huh.
when I came over on the Santa Maria,
Yeah.
one Thanksgiving staple for me is corn pudding.
Okay.
It's one of the ones that my mom makes. You know, like my mom has 2 sisters, so my aunts, they all bring different things to Thanksgiving. My mom always makes corn pudding, which is one of my favorite things.
Uh-huh.
No one out here knows what the hell that is. No one
Well,
knows
see-
what corn pudding is.
I was just going to ask you because we have a corn dish. We've had a corn dish for every year since I can remember, and it's the bottom of it is like pudding-ish, and the top is cornbread. So what exactly is corn pudding?
That's not my thing either. I don't know. It's like
But,
kind
like,
of
describe it.
So it's in a bowl.
Okay.
It's got like a layer of like kind of like caramelized sugar on top, kind of like a
Okay.
creme brulee. It's got corn in it. It's like a yellow color. It's like more of like a like a flan consistency.
Mm-hmm.
You with me on flan?
Yes.
It's not like a pudding, like a goo, but it's like more like a flan.
Is sweet?
It's sweet and it's just like really good. I don't exactly know what's in it. I'm sure I could ask my mom,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it sounds like very similar to what McLean's describing. Like,
Well, that would make sense.
so maybe I've been eating Indian pudding my
Native
whole life.
American pudding. That's
There's
right.
no raisins in it, but it's
Well, good news, Dan.
good
It's
news.
official Native American Pudding Day.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad we looked this up. Good job, McLean.
Good job, McLean. Your value to this podcast is immeasurable.
So, I don't know, but yeah, no, like my cousins are cool now. They're like grown. My cousin Andrew, my cousin Vincent, my cousin Ashley, like they're cool people.
Yeah.
But like I said, just like as a kid, like whatever it was just like I don't know. I just didn't feel like I bonded that well over Thanksgiving. So
Yeah, definitely.
now it's definitely. So I'm excited to go home this year for sure. Plus, I get to see my sister. I actually think we're doing Thanksgiving at her house, but I'll probably see the rest of my extended family at some
and
point.
the new child,
The new child, Theodore James Arroyo. That's
Teddy Arroyo. That's a good baseball name. He needs to play baseball.
Well, see, and this is the thing with, I don't know how you name your children. I guess everyone names their children sort of factoring in the
Imagine you
nickname.
draw it out of a hat.
Yeah. But like they want him to be Teddy, so they're calling him Teddy.
Uh-huh.
And at some point he'll like make the decision, I assume, for himself.
Yeah.
But I think as an athlete, like TJ is one of like the cooler I think names. Like if you're like
Oh, TJ.
something like DJ or TJ, like those are kind of cool like nicknames.
Uh-huh.
So I think it'll be interesting to see how it plays
TJ
out
Arroyo.
if he stays
That's also good.
Teddy
Well, that
or,
last
or
name's
TJ.
pretty solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I remember my mom saying that she picked the names of me and my siblings and me, because they were names that you couldn't shorten. Which Lucas is debatable because you can shorten it to Luke, but Adam and Rachel, she didn't want to pick like Samantha and have people call the kid Sam, which I thought was interesting because you said
You do have
people-
to factor it for sure.
people have to factor in the nickname, which is definitely McCleasy. When you name your kid McLean, you have to know that's what
Yeah.
people are going to call him.
Yeah. Well, and no one calls you Mac, huh? But your little brother's Mac.
Yeah.
How come you're not Mac?
Because he's McAllen.
MAC, he's got MAC.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you could just still be Mac. I mean, you could have been. You just missed that window. He took it. He's got it.
Yeah.
I think when I was little, people called me Mac.
And then they have like the McKennas of the world, and the other like those people get shortened to Mac.
Yep, this is true. So yeah, naming's interesting, but I get to meet him. I'm an uncle for the first time, so get to meet him and watch him exist.
2 months?
No,
old?
he's like 2 weeks old, 2 or 3 weeks old.
Oh, that's it?
3 weeks, I think now.
Yeesh.
Yeah, it's still
Early.
very young.
All right. Well, then, yeah.
What's his birthday? I can't remember, but I got to bring him a gift. I don't know what to get.
Like a pipe cleaner, like something doesn't matter. Like, here's a Kleenex.
It needs to be very salient. It just needs to be full of colors and weird shapes.
Yeah,
You
if
just
it can
look
make-
at it.
if
The longer
it's-
he looks at it, the better a present it
Yeah,
is.
if it's bright and then makes like a jingling noise.
Yeah.
Hand him your keys.
Yeah, I'll go get 4 keys made. I'll get one in those different anodized colors and just.
Yeah, there you go. And then you could buy real gifts and then put them in lock boxes that those keys unlock. And then he unlocks them as he grows older.
Ooh, interesting. But yeah, so I get a real Thanksgiving this year.
Are you contributing a dish?
Yeah, I'm gonna whip up something on the train. No,
Well,
I get off the train at 1 p.m.
Oh, the day of?
the day of.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Yeah, I think. Wait,
Bring
maybe.
some double cheeseburgers from McDonald's.
Yeah.
This is Dan Blewett Thanksgiving fare.
Yeah, I had some chicken nuggets that day and whatever else, and
Turkey nuggets.
kind of felt mildly unsafe.
Yeah.
It was like a downtown location that wasn't the best.
Surprised the homeless people didn't reach out to you and invite you back to their abode under the bridge.
I don't know. But either way, I'm thankful that
That's what it's about.
yeah, I'm just thankful that I had a warm place to go back to. So, but yeah, so we're doing that. Thanksgiving magic.
Thanksgiving magic. Yeah.
It is good that it's not a gift-giving holiday. Gifts are great.
Gifts are great. It's just like, especially, I know I've told you about this, but like when I'm buying for you or like my parents, or it's like it's like mildly stressful to like get a good gift.
It's tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get
The act of like actually like giving the gift is great, but like the lead up to it is a pain in the butt. Whereas Thanksgiving, it's just like you chilling.
Yeah, and I'm at the point where, well, I've been buying a lot of stuff recently, like lots of electronics and camera stuff and whatever. And those are like, oh man, I wish I could wait for a couple months. I could just
Well,
like
that's the
put
other
this on
thing
my
is-
gift list because it'd be easy for somebody to then get me that.
I was thinking about this
But I
exact
can't
thing
wait
because I was
for
like, you and
stuff.
I, when we want something, we typically just get it, and so it's like it's hard to buy gifts for people who just like buy. Like my dad's the same way; he'll just buy something that he wants, and you're like, well, what the hell does Dad want? He gets everything that he wants. So
Yeah, and a lot of times when I buy something, it's not like I don't buy frivolous stuff, so it's always like out of necessity, like things
Or
that
the-
I'm looking for today. Like I kind of need now. I don't really need them in like 2 months from now.
right.
So
Or
it's
the other
like-
thing you'll do is, like, let's say you're gonna get a camera, you'll go out and find a deal on that camera. Whereas if you were to like be like, hey, Mom, buy me this camera, she's gonna buy it like brand new. Whereas like you could have got it for half
Yeah.
price. So it's like it's because I know I've been like, oh yeah, Mom, I want like this stuff from Lulu, but you're not gonna buy it because I get a discount on it. So it's like
Yeah.
it'd be stupid for you to buy it.
Yeah, everything in my life is a tax write-off too. That's the other thing where I don't want other people to buy it when I could buy it with tax-free money.
Right. So then you buy it, you give that to them to then give to you for a gift, and it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Give me the receipt.
yeah.
Give it keeps giving. But, yeah, I don't know.
McLean, what's your
Gifts are
favorite
weird.
holiday?
Probably Thanksgiving.
Oh, Thanksgiving.
Or Christmas.
Christmas is a good one.
Well, Christmas with snow, there's like a kind of like requirement.
Oh, that's a
Gotta be
it's a
snowing on
caveat.
Christmas. Yeah.
McLean gets
nobody
that
wants a green Christmas.
gets that twinkle in his eye.
That's what it's. I was out in California, and it was the first time I'd been in California during like wintry type season. I mean, you and I went in January, but it was like I was like, how do these people celebrate holidays? It's like beautiful and sunny. Like you put up a Christmas tree when it's 85 degrees out. It was very odd. Like the picture of like Christmas lights and I don't know. It was bizarre to me.
Well, it's also weird because, like, say you're in your house. Like, for me, one of the nice things about being being cold for Christmas is that you have a hoodie and some sweatpants on. You have like a
Bundled
blanket
up.
curled up at the couch. But you're indoors. It's air conditioned. That doesn't make any more sense than in California. Like, it's not like it's colder in my house.
Yeah, but it's the atmosphere of it.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, let me
Let's
sit down with
bundle up.
this piping hot apple cider when it's sunny and 96 outside.
So if you're in California, you can just spray paint
That frosty
frost
stuff.
on, and then just turn your air conditioning down
Really low.
And then it's this
Ooh.
Thanksgiving miracle. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanksgiving miracle. God bless you, Fillmore.
Yeah, I don't know.
If you're out in LA, you're scared of Fillmore, though.
Oh, for sure. He's going to take all your best stuff.
All your stuff.
Yeah, your podcasting equipment.
Your sunglasses.
Which I just saw this Samsung TV, which I don't own a TV, but if I did, there's this Samsung TV that has like ambiance mode, where I don't know if you take a picture of it or if it just can sense the back. You probably just take a picture of your surroundings, but it'll like project the wall onto itself, so it just like blends in.
I've seen that before.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Good job, Samsung.
And it just looks like, well, they make
It's got a
TVs now that
super
just
narrow
look like a wall
bezel.
hanging.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy. Which it's funny you mentioned that. I went to Sam's Club the other day, and they had last weekend, they're like 1-day sale, and you could get crazy TVs for super cheap. And like, I don't know, can't remember if we've mentioned this on the podcast, but going in the Sam's Club and you just going around that like TV little thing, like it's insane. Like the massive like 4K curved displays and stuff.
Mhm.
Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Never in my life will I own that, but it's cool.
Well, the whole 4K thing is weird. So, like, one of the things, because I mentioned in our last podcast, like camera stuff, like all these high-end cameras, well, like your phone now, like new phones can do 4K, obviously. And a lot of camera people are complaining about there's lots of new nice cameras, like DSLRs from various companies that, like, don't have 4K. And you're like, why is this $2,000 camera not do 4K when my phone can do 4K? It's, like, really strange.
Yeah.
But the thing with 4K is it's, like, I'm not sure that, like, do people need to be filming stuff in 4K? Because, like, on YouTube, I can't tell the difference between 1080 and 4K. I really can't.
Well, and I think I'm pretty sure this is a thing, but what I was thinking about is, you know, it felt like we were just getting to the point where, you know, the output at 1080p, all of the input devices were getting to 1080p, and then we jumped to 4K. So then it's like, okay, we need the inputs to catch up again, and it's like, just as everything is getting to 4K, we're gonna jump to 8K or whatever the next step is, and it's like at some point, there's diminishing returns, and it's like, is the human eye gonna be able to percept 4K versus 8K? Like, no chance. So it's like, what is the end game?
Yeah, and there's has a lot to do, especially with the internet. It has a lot to do with compression.
Yeah.
So, like, when you put a video onto YouTube, it's going to compress it because they try to minimize the file size, I guess, for their servers or whatever. And most people aren't natively going to, like, watch it at 4K, so it's going to be downscaled to 1080.
Well, that's the other thing is,
So,
we have
I
this
don't know, it's confusing.
escalation of image resolution, but the like internet infrastructure is lagging behind. So it's like, what are we gonna have, like, you know, 500 gigabyte videos in super high def res, and then we're downloading those at, you know, 20 megabytes a second? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I just want gigabit interwebs.
We just
all
need
the internet.
fiber.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my Thanksgiving wish, Fillmore.
Fillmore, bring me higher upload
He just
speeds.
rips the fiber out of the ground and brings it to the poor people.
Fillmore, he's a great American. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, here's my thing with Thanksgiving. I don't care for football, so football is a column thing for me.
Con or like just a neutral? You actively hate it?
I actively hate it.
Okay.
Because I hate football fans. Now, most people are football fans, so I don't hate you
Run
people.
faster.
But I just don't. I don't like the football watching culture. Just
Yeah, I
the
think we
whole
talked
like
about that before.
critiquing the TV, getting all upset. And I don't have a horse in the race, and I don't think it's particularly interesting to watch like all these men just like try to tackle each other as they move the ball 4 feet and then move another 4 feet and then kick it through some pipes.
Yeah.
It's kind of whatever. And granted, baseball is super boring too. So
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
throw
say-
stones at whatever sport you want.
Yeah, you can dissect any sport and make it sound really stupid, but go on.
So like that whole part of it, like, oh, we're gonna have Thanksgiving, then we're gonna watch the
Throw on
Dallas
the game.
Cowboys for 3 hours. I'm like, eh. But again, as a kid, you're kind of just like there for the ride. But now as an adult, I can just like not watch football.
Yeah,
and
do
just
something else.
catch up with somebody. So
And munch on food.
munch on food.
Yes.
Favorite Thanksgiving food? Go.
What? Favorite Thanksgiving food is Thai, probably between. I'm a big mashed potatoes fan, and I like any pumpkin dessert. My mom makes these like, I think she calls them pumpkin bars, but they're like a hybrid between pumpkin pie and then like it's got this crusty top that's made of some sugary thing, and then it's got a crust on it. It's really good. You throw some whipped cream on that, and bang,
Sounds
delicious.
good. I was thinking of making like pumpkin gushers. Like, what if you just made all like
A pumpkin gusher, Dan?
Yeah, Thanksgiving that was just junk food.
What do
just,
you
like,
mean?
made
A pumpkin gusher is orange, and then you bite it and it explodes pumpkin juice into your mouth?
pumpkin pie. There's pumpkin pie inside of it.
Goo. Is it as like pumpkin pie consistency? Or
I
as
didn't say it was a good idea. It just popped in my brain.
as like a goo, like pumpkin goo.
Well, you just take the filling and you just pipe it in there with like a
Okay,
thing.
so it's a filling. I get it.
Yeah,
I'm on,
so
I'm on
instead of
board.
cooking the pumpkin pie, and then you just make gushers. Be really, really weird and random, but
Which there is definitely a line to be drawn when they try to like throw pumpkin flavor into like all the different candies.
yeah. And I am very basic. Like I appreciate a pumpkin spice latte. I actually haven't had one this year. Have I?
I haven't. Also, did
I don't think
La
I have
Colombe
yet. I don't
not
think
come
I
out
have.
with their pumpkin one
I don't know. I was at their cafe yesterday, but
to the internet?
I didn't look.
Keep going.
But pumpkin spice lattes are great. They do make you very basic. So if you're trying to avoid being basic, then probably avoid those. Like the plague.
You mean a PSL, Dan?
Actually, maybe I did get one. I can't remember. I cash in my. I only get those when I cash in my freebies.
Oh yeah, that's
So
a good
for
call.
you out there in podcast YouTube America, if you use the Starbucks app, which you should, if you go to Starbucks somewhat recently or regularly, every like 12 visits or so, you'll have enough points to get a free one, and there's no restriction on what you put in it. So you should get it like with an extra shot. Oh,
What is that?
cold brew shandy lemonade.
La Colombe has cold brew lemon shandy.
That's weird.
You know I'm gonna buy it and try it.
Are you? Are you doing this? This happening?
Yeah, they got the pumpkin spice up, so grab some of those.
I
Why not?
miss black and tans. Those are the best. Those are my favorite.
I wonder if they. Yeah, I need to get some cold brews too.
So here's the thing. I'm gonna switch gears from whatever I was talking about because I just literally forgot what I was talking
pumpkin
about.
spice. And you're
Oh.
talking about using your free rewards.
So if you use your free one, you got to get the biggest size possible, and you got to get extra shots in it because they're free. Like it doesn't matter how much it costs. Your free Starbucks drink is free. So I always get like a Trento, just 30 ounces, get extra shot or two. So it's like a $7 drink if I can get there. So I can't remember. I think I got one in Chicago like 3 weeks ago, but I don't remember.
how many shots did you get in it?
Well, I had like
Oh, you probably don't remember.
6, I think. But I'm probably due for another one. I probably have a freebie soon, but I'll get a PSL for that. But I'm not gonna spend $6 on a pumpkin spice latte. It's full of sugar and
No.
not healthy
No,
for you.
no.
But when it's free, I will. Because they are good. So don't hate on them. But
They are good.
here's my thing with that shandy stuff. So I went to, I don't know, maybe our collective favorite coffee shop, Zion.
Yeah, that's good. In Peoria, Illinois.
Zion Coffee in Peoria, worth a stop. Great little cafe.
You can get some artisan toast.
Artisan toast, yep. By a lot of, you have to be very hipstery if you want to work there. So you got to bring your A game if you're gonna apply.
Yeah.
You got to start not showering.
You got to bring your A
You
game.
gotta put your hair
leave
in
your razor at
beeswax.
home.
Yeah, it's very, very weird. But they did this thing that I decided I'd try it. It was like grapefruit juice mixed with coffee. Or
Okay, well apparently
mixed
this
with
is a thing.
espresso.
I didn't know this is a thing.
Guess how it tasted?
Uh-oh.
Horrifying. If I had one word,
Horrifying.
it was horrifying. And I asked the girl when I got it, I'm like, hey,
What are you
how
doing?
is this? Is this gross? And she's like, no, I think it's good. But if you don't like it, I'll remake it. I'm like, okay, that's nice. You know, a little money back guarantee. I didn't end up taking her up on it. It was horrifying. It was gross. I mean, it tastes exactly what you think it would taste. Like coffee,
I have no idea what that would taste like.
espresso is a very strong taste.
Yes.
A lot of people don't like it. Lemon juice
It's a very strong
is
taste.
a very strong taste. So this was like unsweetened grapefruit juice mixed
Okay.
with espresso.
You know how I feel about grapefruit juice.
I know. Orange juice mixed through a gym sock, but grapefruit juice without sweetener in it is pretty sour. It's like, bordering on
Yeah.
lemon juice. So a nice glass of grapefruit juice, very bitter and sour,
Is it served over ice?
mixed with a shot of espresso served over ice.
I don't.
So just imagine a glass of lemon juice with some coffee flavor. You can imagine that. It was gross. It was gross.
I'm buying some right now, so we're gonna try it.
You're doing it, huh?
Also, they have 3 different forms of pure black now. They have Brazilian, Colombian, and then
That's
your
fascinating.
black and white.
I like the green one.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some.
Place this order after we're done, because I'll get on in there with you.
I'm already stocking you up for this.
Yeah. So
okay,
I don't know. That's the thing. Like, why are they doing that?
It's
They're
new.
mixing lemon juice and like citrus with coffee, and I don't think it's good.
That didn't used to be a thing, did it?
I trust the coffee people. Like, I trust La Colombe.
Yeah.
La Colombe.
When
if you're listening,
when
I
you went
trust
to
you.
Zion,
I trust you.
put your faith in her hands, and you said, "Should I get this?" And she said, "Yes," and then you got it.
Yeah.
And she did you dirty.
Although, to be honest, I don't know that she like specifically recommended it. I think she said that she liked it, which is different than recommending it. But she definitely said it was unique. So
Did
she
you
like sort of warned me. And
Did you
I
finish it?
knew. I drink a good amount of it.
Was it like
because it cost like $4? So I was like, I'm gonna give this, the full college try here.
Which is this is a good example of like you like grapefruit,
I do.
you love espresso, 2 very good things on their own. Put them together.
And I knew that. I didn't think it was gonna be good, but she was
Right.
like, no, it's
I
good.
would have tried
I'm
it too,
like,
just for the novelty of it. Like this
Yeah.
has to be good because why else would you put these 2 things together?
Well, I've gotten so many cappuccinos in my life. Like, what's one day getting something different?
Right.
Like, there's no reason. Like, I know what a cappuccino is going to taste. They make good ones, but I just don't feel like those flavors go together. Whoever, like, I think that people just, like, get on this train of, like, oh, this guy's experimenting. This cafe, this chef is putting these flavors together. It's like, are we all stupid? Like, these don't go together. Like, just
So
because
this is
one
why
guy's doing it.
This is why I'm
It's like
fascinated.
with
'cause,
fashion.
to go to a boutique or whatever you would call that coffee shop and to have that as an item on the menu is one thing, but to mass produce it from a trusted coffee company, I'm feeling like maybe this won't be terrible.
It's got to have some. Well, I mean, that's
It-
shandy. Who knows what that tastes like? It might be sweetened a little bit. It might be like a lemonade with some coffee in it, which is still probably gross. But I don't know.
I mean, it's advertised
Shandy
as
lemonade.
yeah, it's advertised as their cold brew, with like lemonade from real Sicilian lemons
Oh.
for a bright, refreshing afternoon pick me up.
See, here's what we should do. I'm gonna go get some lemonade today, because simply lemonade is my jam. That's like that's like my favorite lemonade. It's very good. It's
Make some
good.
coffee.
It's got the right ratio. I'll just pick up some cold brew somewhere, and we'll mix.
All right.
Because that lemonade is good, but like the thing I got there was like very sour. That was part of it. It was
Yeah,
not
the-
like a
the sweetness
lemonade.
probably plays a key role. Because
Yeah.
you have the bitter coffee and then the bitter. It's like bitter on bitter. You need some
Yeah.
sweet in there.
And I don't like bitter lemonade either. Like there's a continuum. So when you buy lemonade, the brand you've never had before, it's just like you don't know what you're getting. It could be
Right.
kind of sour. It could be too sweet. I'd much rather be on like the too sweet side for lemonade. But this was just like kind of unsweetened grapefruit juice, so it was
Yeah.
gross.
Interesting. I'm excited. I want to taste. If this does taste bad, I want to.
Shandy lemon. My guess is gonna be more on the less sweet side, but
It says sweet and subtle,
sweet and subtle.
so it's got some sweetness in it, which probably might be not terrible.
Yeah. I don't know.
This was what I was going to circle back to is I do not like when people are like, oh, this coffee has notes of cranberry and like I don't like fruit in my coffee. Like I like drier coffee. So
Get
I'm
your fruit
trying
out.
to
Get that fruit out of
get
there.
that fruit out of there. So I'm guessing I'm not going to be a huge fan, but I do want to try this.
Okay, that's fair.
But you're right. We should maybe potentially make our own first and then do this. Because if it tastes like butt, although I do want to taste theirs regardless. Because they know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, live life.
Live life.
If I'd known, I could have picked some up yesterday. I was in their shop yesterday. I got a black and tan. They're so good. Fresh from their
pot.
what is that? A spigot? It's not a spigot. The tap.
Yeah,
So
their tap. Fresh from the tap.
Fresh from the tap. Chicago.
McLean, do you drink coffee, or does that like make your body shut down or something? Okay, that's a no, people.
I
Yeah.
like the taste of coffee though, and espresso.
Well, for the first 20 years of my life, the smell of coffee was enough. One of the best smells in the world.
Coffee's great. So, shifting gears to a non sequitur.
Which we
One of
love
my
to do.
favorite things now is watching engineering clips on Instagram.
Engineering clips. Expound.
Like machines, like machining gears.
Oh, yeah.
And like
Which is very
lasers
satisfying.
doing stuff. There's like lots of crazy. I really appreciate how things are made in a mechanical sense. Like, I think machining is fascinating. I think welding is fascinating. I used to do some welding when I worked on cars back in high school into college. But just like watching some of these processes of like cutting a gear out of like a hard metal and like all this different stuff, it's just like fascinating. I love it.
The videos of taking like a black cylinder of metal and then taking it through the machine lathe and like watching the metal like fly off is very satisfying.
Yeah.
Also, have you ever seen like the videos of they'll demonstrate like tolerances? So like you imagine you have like just like a metal plate with a circle, and then they'll take a cylinder and plop it in there, and it like goes because like the tolerance is so perfect that it like just slides into place, and then when it hits, it's like completely flush. It's amazing. But like that stuff is very satisfying, and you just like I don't know, it makes you want to get one. I want to make a bunch of bolts.
Well, I was watching water jet cutting for like 20 minutes the other day because I saw some video just come up where it just like cut through a camera, cuts through an iPhone, cuts through all these different things. But they just cut through like 4 inches of steel like nothing,
and it's like
astonishing.
On the videos of like the cameras and stuff, the line is so clean, like it just goes zoop, and there's no like nothing like parts don't blow off. It's just like it's like so high pressure.
Yeah, it's hard to like fathom that.
I also like to watch the videos of when they do any kind of coating. So whether they chrome it or they do some sort of like oxidation to make it look different, and like they put it in those big vats of like.
It's crazy.
Also fascinating. Or I watched this other video of how they recycle motherboards and like circuit boards because they want to take the metal out. So there's like gold and stuff on circuit boards, and so they'll like I can't remember how they do it. I think they put it in like they all have different melting points. So they'll like take these motherboards and stick them in different things, and like one takes out the silver, one takes out the gold, and so they're just left with these giant like plates of pure gold and pure silver. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, there's a lot of accounts like that people are just interested. Like, there's a big YouTube account called like What's Inside. That was just like a dad and a kid started a long time ago. They started cutting stuff in half, and
also non sequitur or not. I guess this isn't a non sequitur, but what's fascinating about those people there's like a couple dad kid combos that have made an absolute killing just doing stupid videos like that. I know that there's my nieces and nephews watch this like dad and son who just like they'll go to like the dump or like the tire store, but they do stupid like skits and stuff, and there's a lot of dinosaurs involved.
Dinosaurs,
those people make an absolute killing.
Yeah, YouTube is a thing. It just
I think you showed me like the What's Inside people, just like let's cut this mouse in half. 700,000 views.
Well, and like those shredders. You've seen like those amazing things that shred cars and shred engine blocks and shred literally anything you toss into it.
You put an engine block in it, it makes it look like a toy.
It's amazing. Those things are so cool. Yeah, that stuff is awesome though.
Or if you watch there's a YouTube channel with the hydraulic press. He just like smashes
everything.
Very satisfying.
And all those things are so weird. And there's so many Instagram accounts. They seem like spammy. I don't know why they exist. And it's just like them like taking a bar of soap and cutting it with a razor blade. They're just like, and then like mashing their thumb into some gooey thing, and people just like watch and they're like, they're like, a lot of the accounts have the word "satisfy" in the name. It's like, why does this exist?
I once watched
so weird.
It had to have been like an 8 or 9 minute video of a guy sharpening a knife. He went to like a garage sale or a thrift store or something and bought like a poopy $2 knife, and then like did a full sharpening like puts it through like 8 or 9 different steps, and then does like the like cuts a piece of paper. It was very satisfying. And I was like, why did I just spend 8 minutes of my life watching this dude sharpen a knife? There's literally no audio, just him like sharpening the knife. It was fascinating though.
Yeah, we should get a
knife sharpening is sweet.
We should get a
whetstone.
No, a shredder, a metal shredder.
Yeah,
let's park it out back.
The only problem with that is
every day we'll just throw something in it.
I was gonna say that after like 6 months there'd be nothing left in Warbird. We'd be like, hey, throw that in there too.
Where's my MacBook?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I wanted to look like what it looked like when we put it through the shredder.
Well, for those who don't know, we have like a guy who's like a junk collector salesman who has a storage unit right across from our front door. He'd be like our partner. He'd be our new business partner. Hey, go find some trash.
Yeah.
And
huck it in the shredder.
Yeah. But we have
what happens if you put a dumbbell in there? What if you throw a
That's a
175
good-
in there?
That's a good question.
Because I don't have anything to grab onto. It might just like rattle around.
I think it'll probably grab onto it and then like bind. There's definitely a limit to what those shredders can shred
Yeah.
because they're not gonna like take little. They're not gonna like take little nicks off it. They like they catch and they gotta pull it through. Yeah, that's a good.
Well,
We have dumbbells that are like up to 4 inches of solid steel. They're so heavy.
Yeah.
They probably wouldn't get those.
And with the engine block, I mean, the engine block weighs what, 1,200 pounds? No, 1,000 pounds maybe.
Yeah.
And like you throw it in there and it like rattles around, but the little claws have like stuff that can like grab onto and snap off.
Yeah, it just
But
snaps them all
a
off.
dumbbell would just that'd be fascinating to watch. Machine versus steel. That would be cool.
Yeah. And when I think of those shredders, I think of that movie 30 Days of Night. The one
Is
in
that a zombie
Alaska. No, it's with vampires.
Oh, okay.
Josh Hartnett.
Oh yeah.
And
Wow, I haven't seen that movie in a decade.
yeah, it's kind of scary. It's not bad. But at the end, one of the vampires gets killed. They have like a big shredder for the town. He gets tossed in the shredder. I mean, it's a movie,
Right.
but not a great way to go.
That reminds me of
But
Fargo.
it was like instant, like sucked him right down. I wonder how fast a human gets pulled down one of those shredders. It's a awful thing to think
very
about.
fleshy, very soft.
But in that movie, it was like pretty fast, and it was like moving.
I mean,
really
I'm
quick.
sure. Yeah, it was probably as fast as the wheels turn.
Ugh,
'Cause
That's
it's like-
horrifying.
The engine block like bounces out, but a human, you're no resistance to that thing.
Ugh. All right, let's stop talking about that. That's
Or the wait.
awful.
What about the scene in Fargo with the wood chipper?
Yeah, that's not great.
That's
not great.
funny.
That's not great. Fargo's a good movie. Very interesting.
It is a very good movie. I've probably seen it maybe 3 times, but every time I see it, I'm like, I need to watch this movie more. I just watched kind of along those same lines, but No Country for Old Men. That's another good movie.
Some of my favorites. Some of my top 3.
I just watched that the other day. Such a good movie.
Don't put it in your pocket. It'll
Your lucky
become just a
quarter.
coin. Become just a coin.
And I actually just like sat down and watched the first like 40 minutes of it and then watched the whole thing because oh man, it's good. Anton Chigurh is.
He's great. Does he kill her at the end? Does he kill the girl?
Oh yeah, I think so for sure.
The coin don't got no say. It's just you.
Yeah.
It is really interesting. I mean, the undertones of that movie are, I don't know, what undertones do you pick up from No Country for Old Men, for old men?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Cormac McCarthy, I've read a couple of his books, and it's like, I'm assuming there's some sort of metaphor in there somewhere where I'm sure Anton represents something, but I don't know if he's like death or like what he is, but I don't know. It's very, like the ending especially is very like headsy, where you're like, what the hell am I supposed to take away from this? Where I don't really like pulled anything or thought about it too deeply, but
Okay, well, you can critique mine then.
Okay.
So that's one of my favorite movies because I like boring movies like that. But so my interpretation, because I've probably seen it, I don't know, 5 or 6 times, but is so there's the 2 themes. So if you haven't seen No Country for Old Men, you should watch it. It's
graphic.
violent and graphic at times, but there's this guy, Llewellyn. He's just like an ordinary, like lives in a trailer rancher. He goes out hunting, stumbles across this like drug deal shootout where like almost everyone's dead, and last guy's dying, and he finds a briefcase full of money. So he takes it, goes home, and then while he's doing this is at night, he comes across one guy who's like not dead. He's in his truck. He's shot up. It's like it was in the middle of the day when he gets this.
yeah, he's in his
And the
death
guy's-
throes.
He's just sitting there bleeding to death in his car, this Mexican guy, and he goes, agua. He's just begging him for water, and he goes, I ain't got no agua. So he's like taking guns off these guys, off these bad men, takes the money, leaves, and he goes home, and then it starts to nag at him. He goes, like he's thinking about that guy asking him for water. So he gets a jug of water. It's dead of night. Goes back, knowing that he shouldn't do this, and he like tells his wife, he's like, if I don't come back, blah, 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 to bring this guy water. Well, he gets there at night. The guy's gone. Or he's dead. He's dead. And then some bad guys pull up to like the scene, and they see Llewellyn there. So now people know because they were looking for the money. Like that,
Right.
there was a drug deal gone bad. The money's gone. They don't know where it went. If he had just left, they probably would have never figured it out. But he goes back, so they find out that this guy, whoever he is, took it. So they chase him. They shoot him. He gets away. And then the drug dealers who owned all this money get their like best assassin, this guy Anton Chigurh, to hunt him down. And you start to follow the 2 characters, Llewellyn and Chigurh, and Chigurh just kills people at random for no reason. He'll like take their car. He doesn't need to kill them. He'll kill them anyway. And he has a cow.
Slaughtering. It's a
The bolt thing.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
It's essentially like a hydraulic. I don't know what you
Do they
would
call it a stun gun?
No, it has a name. I was just reading about it recently. I can't remember what it is. But basically, it's an air compressor, and then a little pellet that shoots out of a steel rod that gets retracted. So it's how they explain it in the movie. But the way they slaughter cows is they just put it up to their head, and then it like shoots this bolt into their brain, and then it comes right back in.
Captive bullet. It's called a captive bullet. Yeah.
So it's just like that way they don't have to shoot the cow and then dig for the bullet. There's no bullet in the head.
So he runs around. He's got this oxygen tank next to him, and he'll just like he pulls over a car and he like stops the man. And he's like, hold still, and he just like puts it to his head and then just does it and just kills him.
Yeah.
So it's graphic at times. But anyway, so this guy Shigur, the plot wears on, you can tell that he's ruthless. Like he has no compassion for anyone. And he's also extremely good at his job. He's extremely thorough, and he also has a strange sense of morals where. So later on, a guy who's dealt with him before, another like assassin, comes to Llewellyn.
So Anton kind of goes rogue, and so the drug dealer hires this other guy, Woody Harrelson, who's another assassin, to like go track down Anton and like kill him. And so that's when. And
so he starts talking to Llewellyn, when he gets found in a Mexican hospital. He's bleeding because he gets in a little gunfight with Shigur. He gets away though, which is very rare. And so Woody Harrelson's character comes and talks to him. He's like, he has a real strange sense of morals. Like, he'll take the money and he'll kill you anyway. He doesn't care. It's not about money for him. Like, you can't bribe him. You can't offer him anything. He's just not like you and me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thread of that movie is, what's his name? The old guy, Tommy Lee Jones. He's the sheriff of this small town. And throughout it, he's just like, he's tracking them. He's tracking the situation. They're trying to find both of them. And
Llewellyn and Anton Shigur.
Yeah, and he's just like constantly expressing this overwhelmedness. Like he just like doesn't understand like this crazy drug violence and
the evil of it.
He's just like a small town sheriff and just like doesn't get it, and he's not adapting.
And the way they play that against Anton is kind of funny because Tommy Lee Jones kind of has this like little deputy sidekick who's kind of like almost comical, where he's like really like go get him and he wants to like get everybody, and Tommy Lee Jones plays it like really slow and cool and like, so it's kind of funny that how they play that off of each other. And I don't know if you're gonna get to this or not, but eventually Anton not only finds out but then kind of like gets one step ahead of Woody Harrelson's character, and they're sitting in a hotel room, and Woody Harrelson's character is basically like, hey man, it doesn't have to be like this. You can have all the money, like you can get away. He's like, I can just step away from all this, like we can just be done. And basically Anton's response is like, that's not how this works.
Yeah. And so he kills him, but and so the whole time, like, a couple things. Like, that Tommy Lee Jones's character, the sheriff, is not going to stop him. Llewellyn, at a certain point you realize like Llewellyn, who's like fought valiantly against this guy, is not going to get away.
Yeah, it's kind of in over his head.
And the way Shigur keeps going, he keeps like stopping. He's like driving along, hunting him down. Then he stops at like a convenience store, and he'll flip a coin, and he'll ask the person to call it. So he's at this clerk in this little tiny gas station in the middle of nowhere, and he's buying like $3 worth of like peanuts and whatever. And he looks at this old guy who's just like simpleton gas station owner, like never heard a fly, just like whatever. And
Southern guy.
Ask him some questions about his life and like how he came to own a gas station, and he just decides, hey, I'm gonna flip this coin, call it. He goes, well, what am I calling it for? He says, call it.
I gotta know what I'm calling it for.
He just call it. And he like, the guy starts to get this sense,
like a sense of like something messed up's gonna happen.
And he calls it, and he flips the coin, he catches it, and he goes, it's your lucky coin. He goes, it's heads. Or he calls it correctly. It's like heads, and it lands heads, and he gives him the coin, and he leaves. And he goes, don't put it in your pocket. Like, that's your lucky coin.
Mm-hmm.
If you put it in your pocket, it'll become just another coin. But that was
coin.
your lucky. So anyway, he's like, for me, the way I interpreted that movie is just that Shigur is just the inevitable. He's just like
fate.
He's not necessarily death. He's just the way the world is changing. He's just a representation of the inevitable change of the world and the way some people, the sheriff is not willing to adapt to it. and
or
other
or
people,
like or it's like the world's like passing him by, kind of.
yeah,
Like he's just like getting left behind.
and maybe that's the title. Like, this is no country for old men. Like, this is a young man's game that's changing fast, and there's inevitable things that are going to happen, and if you're not up to speed, and so he sort of acts like that, and Chigurh also acts just like a fate. And so at the end, he catches up with Llewellyn's wife after he kills Llewellyn, and he catches up with her wife, and he's just sitting in her house, and she walks in the room, and she's like, I knew this would come. Like, I knew this day would happen.
Which is funny because her character, like this whole movie, has been very like frantic and worried about her boyfriend Llewellyn. Like she's kind of like and like whimpery, and she goes to the sheriff to like try to rescue Llewellyn. And so, but then when she goes face to face with Chigurh, she's very like calm to a certain degree, because she's like, yeah, like she like sensed the inevitability of him coming to find her.
Yeah, and he makes her flip a coin, and he's this expression, and just the scene is kind of dark where but he says, call it, and she's like, no, I'm not gonna call it. Like, it's just you. Like, it's not, the coin doesn't have a say. It's you. And so like that's sort of, I think, a good representation of like what he was in general. Like, there was no outcome that was uncertain with him. With him, the outcome was always certain. Like, if you crossed him, there was only one outcome.
If you inconvenienced him in any way.
Yeah, he was going to kill you. Didn't matter what.
What's funny though is in my third rewatching, you remember his interaction with like the like heavy set secretary lady.
Yeah,
because he has like a very similar.
He wanted to kill her for sure.
Yeah, and you get the sense that I don't know why he didn't kill her, other than the sort of like the conceit they give in the movie is he's like talking with her, and then you hear like a noise off camera, and he looks over, and there's like another person standing over there, so it's like there's a witness there. So, but I was like, why don't you just kill them both? But because you can see he's like doing the same thing to her that he did to the gas station clerk, but then he like looks over and then just like walks away. But yeah, he wanted to kill her very badly because she wouldn't give him the information he wanted.
Yeah, and then when he does so he gets information from that woman. He goes to Llewellyn's trailer. And this is just like another thing about him. He's not there. He like looks around, and then he sits down, pours himself a glass of milk, sits there, and drinks it. I think he takes his socks off, changes his socks or something.
Yeah, he does something weird.
But he just drinks the milk and leaves the milk. And that's when then the sheriffs come back later, like, oh, we just missed him. Like, and it's like
the best. That's one of my favorite parts of the movie is Tommy Lee Jones and his little go get him deputy are in the thing, and they're both standing there, and it's quiet for a second. And then Tommy Lee Jones is like, oh, it's a shame. And he's like, what? He goes, still sweating. Oh, dang, we just missed him, Sheriff. And they understand that he just poured the glass of milk, so it was really funny.
Yeah, and he goes, well, we got to put out a notice. He's like, what are we going to put out? He goes, looking for a man who had recently drunk milk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's but it was just an interesting movie because of, like you said, like the sort of inevitability of change, the inevitability of like fate, and just the way Tommy Lee Jones like knew that he wasn't cut out for that life anymore.
Yeah, and you kind of like Tommy Lee Jones is just kind of behind in the whole movie. Like,
yeah,
I can't remember if. So there's one point where he's describing to this person, and I don't even think at this point he knows how Chigurh is killing people, but he's describing to someone that exact thing, and you're like, oh, he's just like 4 steps behind at this point. Like, he's just figuring out like how he's killing people, but Chigurh is just like off doing a bunch of other stuff. So, yeah. And then I can't remember the conversation now, but he also has a conversation. Was that his dad at the end that he's talking to in the wheelchair? I
think so.
Yeah, because it was like his dad was a sheriff and his dad before him or whatever. So, but then the ending is strange because Chigurh he has the money at that point, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he steals a car, and he's like driving away, and then out of nowhere, well, should we spoil this?
Yeah, it's whatever.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. Go,
okay. So he gets blindsided by a car. So he's like, it's very out of nowhere. He just gets in this huge car accident, and he gets out, and he's got like a broken leg, or think, and he's not in good shape. And these like little kids roll up, and he's like, "How much for your shirt?" Or he's like, "Give me your shirt." And he's like, "What are you gonna give me for it?" And doesn't he offer him money?
No, he goes, "How much would you take for the shirt?" So he offers to pay him for the shirt, and the kid gives him, and then he asks, I think, for what was it? And then the other kid,
a drink of his Coke, wasn't it, or something?
Something maybe like that, yeah. But the kid gives him the shirt, and he makes it into a thing for his broken arm or whatever. Arm. Yeah, it's a splint for because the bone's sticking out.
Oh yeah. And then the movie just ends. He just cuts out.
Yeah, and that was just like another part. Like it was, and that was the thing. Like it was so matter of fact. Like he gets in this car accident. It's like very abrupt the way they film it, and then he's just like stumbles out. He's bleeding. His bone's sticking out of his arm, and he just like calmly asks for this kid's shirt, gives him $100 for it, makes a splint, and then just limps on his way. Like there's just like nothing stopping the inevitable.
Yeah.
And yeah, and Tommy Lee Jones in his final scene, he's just talking with his dad or no, he talks. It's like a dream the way it ends.
Mm-hmm.
He's talking with his wife, and she's like, "Well, what'd you dream about?" And he's like, "Well, I was on a horse, and then
Oh, that's right. That's how it ends.
I can't remember the exact dream." And he's like, "And then I woke up."
Yeah.
And it's just, and there was something metaphoric in that dream too.
Yeah,
I just can't. But it was a really interesting movie, and
yeah, it's good. And then, so that author is very interesting too. He wrote The Road and then Blood Meridian, and Blood Meridian is like, I guess not. I wouldn't say widely considered, but commonly considered to be his best work. And there's a very similar. I think you would enjoy that book. There's a very similar character called the Judge in that book, which is kind of like, I don't know if it's not post-apocalyptic, but it's like there's these marauding bands of like criminals, and the Judge is kind of like the quasi leader of one of them, and he's in the same way that Shigur is kind of inevitability. The Judge is like evil, or maybe like similarly like inevitability or like judgment. It's a really cool character. I'm sure it's only a matter of time before they make that into a movie too. But so yeah, read Cormac McCarthy.
yeah, and read it while eating Indian pudding.
Yeah, that was a
'cause it's Indian pudding day.
that was a very bizarre episode. But
Hey, if you like tangents, you'll
if you
like this episode.
If you like the cheer of Thanksgiving and Fillmore the Dragon, and then random really sober and somber movies like
say sobering too.
Yeah. No Country for Old Men, then this is
Yeah,
a podcast
that was
for
like
you.
a 10-minute recap of that movie.
Yeah. We should just do more movie reviews.
If you've not seen it, you should go see it.
There's a new podcast type. We'll do book club and we'll do movie reviews.
Movie reviews. I can start watching some movies.
Yeah.
All right, what are you gonna watch for our next movie review?
Well,
We gotta
Dan,
watch something.
you know what I just watched recently was Kill Bill Volume 1.
You haven't seen any of those before?
No, I've seen them before,
Oh,
but
okay.
we could go over our Tarantino movies.
That's true. About Blade Runner.
I
How
have
you
not watched
you
Blade
haven't
Runner.
seen-
I will watch
Is
Blade
it still on
Runner.
Netflix?
I don't know.
It was
I
as of
don't-
like a month or two ago.
I don't mind spending $4 to rent it though. You can rent stuff on Apple Movies.
It's on one of the platforms, but I'm pretty sure it was on Netflix.
Did you? How familiar were you with?
That's like the whole movie.
How familiar were you with the first one before you watched the second one?
I watched Blade Runner for the first time maybe like 5 years ago. Because I'm not typically into those like
Sci-fi.
90s sci-fi like dark. It's a very like dark movie, like physically like low light. But it was like acclaimed, so I finally got around to watching it, and I liked it, but I don't love it because it's awfully creepy at times. But it was interesting. I've seen it, I think, probably 3 times total now. So when they came out with a new one, I definitely want to watch it. So I saw it. I thought it was really good, especially being in a theater. Like it's a very immersive kind of movie. So being in the theater with the immersive sound, I think, is important to it. But you can always just crank it up. It's just lots of like
crank up the
cinematic
sound.
sounds, just like.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of bassy tones.
Yeah, and that movie is movie's also very interesting, just from
Okay,
like
well,
a
wait.
philosophical perspective.
Wait, I'll watch it and then we can go over it.
Replicants.
Replicants. I haven't
Should
watched.
you treat them like humans, or should you treat them like garbage?
Oh, I did watch. We're gonna go down a rabbit hole. But I
Yeah,
watched
yeah, okay.
the movie Her. Have you heard of that movie? It's with Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson plays the operating system that he falls in love with.
Oh,
This is another very like, are they humans? Are they not humans?
we could do a theme. We could do that one. We could do Lars and the Real Girl, which is when Lars is dating. That's the same guy, Ryan Gosling. He's dating a doll, like one of those like
Okay.
full length
Mhm.
sex dolls. And it's not a sexual thing, but he's just like carting around because they're very realistic.
Mhm.
Like this is his girlfriend. And everyone's like, "What's wrong with that boy?"
Yeah. Well, that's very similar themes.
And then there's
Blade Runner. We could do that. and
Ex
then
Machina.
Ex Machina, which is another good movie.
A lot of artificial people. Yep.
Weekend at Bernie's. Corpse pretending to be a person.
Oh, the possibilities are endless. iRobot.
Yep.
Oh man. All right. Well, this was a great Thanksgiving episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy Indian Indian Pudding
Indian
Day.
pudding.
And we'll see you
And
next
World
week.
Kindness Day. Be kind.